This is my Irish Atari Kangaroo arcade machine that I recently restored with a Matsushita TM-202G monitor. I had it working and then it stopped recently on a live stream. Let's test it out and see what's going on. Oh dear. That's not good at all, is it? That's not good at all.
Overtime!
All right, here it is, the dreaded Matsushita TM-202G that I had been using in my Atari Kangaroo, my Irish Kangaroo, until a recent members-only live stream where it just completely died on me. And I had no idea why, so I finally got around to checking it out, opened up the back of the cabinet. I noticed one of the, I forget which one it was now, I think it was maybe this one here. One of the fuses was blown, so I replaced it and then powered it back up, and you saw what happened. The flyback caught fire, a little electrical fire or arcing or something. I can kind of see some black stuff coming out of the back of the flyback there. So what I'm going to try to do is replace this flyback. And the first thing I need to do is discharge the monitor. So you've seen me do this before. My homemade discharging tool. I'm going to connect the alligator clip to the frame of the cabinet, put my left hand in my back pocket, and I'm just going to reach underneath here and make a connection. Oops. And okay, not getting any kind of pop or spark or anything. So we will try to pull this sucker off. Here we go. And it's got these weird, it's not the hooks that you expect to see. There's only these like clips that are a little bit different. We'll just make sure it's fully discharged. Yeah, okay. So these monitors, as you've heard me talk about before, have a very well-deserved reputation for being very difficult to work on. It's really a TV monitor chassis with most of the components removed, like the tuner and everything. Originally from Panasonic, and I think they owned Matsushita. There's some sort of corporate relationship there. And yeah, these things are just a bear. It was dead when I got it, but we got it working, at least for a little while, until the flyback gave up the ghost. I'm not 100% sure that replacing this flyback is necessarily going to fix everything, but we're going to give it a shot. Just removing everything. I did the DeGauss coil. Now we've got the neck board and the, come on, the ground that's disconnected. That's all bound up in this thing. This sort of reusable zip tie thingamajig. All right. And yeah, these flybacks, or these these monitors are bad. Nobody likes working on them. When they're working, they have a good picture, but that's when they're working. And yoke wires are over here. This thing's filthy, and I didn't clean it. And are we free and clear? I believe we are. Okay, let me grab my screwdriver. Yeah, and if you look up anything about these monitors, everyone tells you they're terrible, don't use them, don't work on them, throw them away. Buffett is a very well-known repair technician. He's got a channel called the Arcade Buffet, a play on his last name of Buffett. Yeah, he used to have a running joke on Clav years ago that, you know, when people would ask, how do I fix this thing? He'd say, you don't fix it, you throw it away. But before you do that, you rip off the neck board and send it to him as like a, I don't know, offering to the arcade gods. So, yeah. And I guess the flybacks on the Matsushitas also have a poor reputation. There were some reproductions years ago made by the real Bob Roberts, and those had a bad rap. They would often explode or catch fire or whatever they would do. And just bad news all the way around. So that white box right there is the new Flyback that I have, and I actually got this from eBay. I guess it says right here, Russell Industries. This is a TLF 6041F Flyback transformer. And yeah, so I bought this on eBay. We're going to try to make it work. What's funny is before they fulfilled the order, they actually called me on the phone and left me a voicemail. I guess, I don't know if it was possible for eBay sellers to get the phone numbers of buyers, but they called me and left me a voicemail. Really nice guy saying, hey, just so you know, the Flyback works, and the pinout's correct, but the pins need to be bent in order to fit. And so here's a little note that they included in the box. I guess Russell Industries and Premium Parts Plus are the same thing. Basically talking about why the pins are a little bit different, so you have to bend them. You can freeze frame that if you really want to read those, that note. But yeah, here's our new Flyback. Nice and brand shiny new. Looks like any sort of modern reproduction made in China Flyback. So yeah. Let's see. So I've got the chassis out of the monitor, and we're going to figure out how to get this sucker out of here. I think there are some instructions in the Atari manual, which is pretty good. Let's see, it's mounted in a couple different places. This goes here, and this comes around. Let me sort of unbind this stuff. Again, it's absolutely filthy. We've got some electrical tape binding these wires together. All right. Okay. Let's see. This is the focus wire. There's a little boot here. See if I can back this off. Oh man. All right. And let's see. Get my flux pen and my flux. I guess I should have been more prepared before starting filming. There we go. I'll throw a little flux on here. I guess this is the focus wire that's soldered onto the focus block here. I guess sort of like is it a G07 where the focus block is separate from the Flyback assembly. And we'll add some fresh solder here, just like this. There we go. And my desoldering tool, see if I can suck some of this solder off. Yep, that was pretty good. Okay. And we'll just kind of push it off now. There we go. And the loop there is clean enough. And we will save this boot. And we'll save this insulator, maybe if we can, later. So let's look at if I can do this in a way where I'm not going to damage anything else. Yeah, we can just go like this. Okay, I'm not sitting on anything, am I? No, I'm sitting on that ceramic resistor. Find a little box here to prop things up. Perfect. There we go. All right, we're sitting on the metal frame. I can't remember, was this all what it looked like before? But yeah, let's come in here and is that? Looks like there's some screws that hold the Flyback in as well, but We'll add flux to all of the main pins. What are those? Yeah, those are all separate things. All right, good amount of flux. And we'll add fresh solder to all of them because new solder helps the old solder melt. All right, let me quickly go and replace the tip on my desoldering tool. All right, these are some pretty large pins, so I'm not even sure this is big enough to go all the way around it. All right, I think all of the pins are loose now and are desoldered. And what else is going on the top side here? Let's see. Okay, I probably want to disconnect these pieces here of the focus block without breaking anything. This will allow the fuzz there. This will allow the whole thing to kind of move out of the way and allow the flyback to come out. And I'm sorry, I've not seen anyone replace the flyback on one of these before. I'm not sure what to expect in any way, so kind of bear with me. All right, got that second bolt off. That was tedious. Very tight quarters in there, and I think it'll come right off now. No. What else is holding it on? What else is holding on? It's just stuck on that. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. So, like I said, I'm not sure that this will fix it, putting a new flyback on. Oh, and the flyback just came apart. See that? This is, it's not how it's supposed to be. Is there a piece I'm not disconnecting? Here we go. Yeah, the whole flyback just came apart in my hands. That ain't right. Okay. And we've got some screws on the bottom still. Let's see. Let's see about moving those two screws. All right. Okay, hopefully it should come right out. Yep, it's coming. Oh yeah, and there's whatever the stuff is that's inside of it. Oh, we're not quite free. All the gunk from the inside of the flyback has like come and burnt out, and I was just touching it and it was crumbling and kind of going everywhere. Let's do this without breaking anything. Oh. Like I said, I've not seen anyone do this before in a Matsushita, so I think Dell might have done it once. This is like a little retainer clip. I think I see a couple that have a little bit of solder in them. A couple of pins. All right, now I think we're free, hopefully. Oh, there's another Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Something is still holding on to this flyback. Right there, I see it. There we go. All those are free. There we go. Now it's out. It's out. It's out. There's gunk everywhere. Look at that. The whole thing is falling apart. Look at that. Right there. If it'll focus. Focus for me. Blew a hole in the flyback. Flyback broke into pieces. Just junk. What a hunk of junk. I'll put that over there. Oh man. Well, at least it's out of there. That's a step towards fixing it. Let's get all this debris out of the way. And it's all burnt resin or potting that leaked out. All right, now let's take a look at what we're going to need to do to line up this new, this new flyback in the hole. All right, move all this out of the way. Okay, looks all right. All right, I'm going to have to bend some of these pins, so let me mess around with this for a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm making out. All right, honestly, that wasn't bad at all. I barely had to bend the pins. I would say that I've had to bend the pins far more on other flybacks to get them to fit. Kind of what I did, almost made a cheat sheet for myself. I took a little scrap of paper and I traced the holes and then eventually poked through the holes just to show like a template of what I needed. Lined it up with the pins on my reproduction flyback and really just had to bend maybe 3 or 4 of the pins slightly to get it to fit. And I'd say we're in there pretty good. You know, it's not quite 100% flush with the chassis PCB, which I think is okay. We're soldered on there, did all that off camera, and put the focus assembly, or focus block back together. I soldered the focus wire onto the focus block, and I think we're ready to give this a shot. Let's plug this back into the frame of the monitor. There we go. Oh, you probably can't even see what I'm doing, can you? No, okay. Terrible camera work, Charlie. All right, let's slide this sucker in. Come on, here we go. Oop. Don't want to get this bound up. There's no screws on the bottom holding the flyback in. It's really just the solder on the pins holding it in. There's nothing on the focus block that goes into the new reproduction flyback. And I put the insulator that was on the focus wire, put that back onto the new one, and obviously the boot to cover up the solder joint. And I'm glad I have this insulator on, because otherwise the focus block kind of metal piece wants to rub up against that wire, so that insulation should help with that. So let me put everything back together in reverse order. Let's do I guess not necessarily reverse order, but here's the gauze coil back together. And it's got a little wire tie thingamajig right there, which reminds me of Nintendo cabinets. We'll insulate a piece of wire that holds it together. We've got our, let's see, our yoke wires go in like this, and there's a bunch of stuff in the way. All right, yoke is on, and we've got a grounding wire here. That's on. We can put our neck board on. All right, and where's our little zip tie doodad thing? We'll put that on here. All right. That's fine. Let's see, anything else other than the anode? Yoke, ground, neck, the gauze. This ground is reconnected. All right, let's put the anode cup back on, and it's got a little spacer thing that I'm going to pull off the old Flyback. This, I think, is just designed, this little, almost look like a wagon wheel. It's kind of meant to, I think, prevent the anode wire from making contact with the yoke directly. So let's put that on. And new Flyback has a much more traditional set of, like, I've always thought they look like alligator, or not alligator, rabbit ears, like from an old TV antenna. Okay, put that like that. And I think we're probably, oh, you didn't see that, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we got the, oops, let's just double check this. Yeah, that's on good. All right. Yeah, I think we're ready to plug this back into the cabinet, fire it up and give it a shot. We might need to, oh, I need to screw the chassis back in. There's another ground wire right here. Okay. We might need to, we'll test and perhaps need to adjust the B+ voltage. That's a pretty common thing you need to do when replacing Flybacks. And that's kind of a weird, it's kind of strange how you do that with a Matsushita, which you may have seen me do in the previous video. But I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So yeah, let's go ahead and throw this in the cabinet and give it a test. Okay, here we go, ready to test. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not sure exactly what to expect. I do have the monitor with the new reproduction Flyback, this Matsushita TM-202G, connected to the cabinet, because if you remember when we repaired this monitor for the first time, it really didn't like any power other than what was coming out of the transformer assembly in the bottom of this cabinet. So yeah, got it hooked back up to power. I've got an alligator clip connecting the ground, and I've got the video connector plugged in right there. I've got the cabinet plugged in, and I just have to throw a switch on the wall, and we'll see if we get fireworks or something good happening. So wish me luck. 3, 2, 1. Nothing happening? Oh. Whoops. I forgot to plug in the cabinet, so that would help. I'll plug it into my AV cart right here. There we go. The AV cart is plugged into the wall, but I forgot to plug in the cabinet to the power. So here we go on 3. This time something's going to happen. Good, bad, or otherwise. Something's going to happen this time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. That's good. I heard the HV come on. Let's see. Give me something on that screen. Got no image. Could very well be that the B+ is messed up. Let me turn off the lights and see if I've got any kind of net glow. If I remember, the net glow on this thing is pretty strong. Well, and the marquee light is on, and I can hear, I mean, we can actually even coin up a game. Let's start a game to prove to you that something's working. Here we go. Loud as anything, but nothing on the screen. And I'm not going to be able to See if there's net glow. Let me see what I can do, like with this. Yeah, I've got no net glow. All right, well, let's see. Let's see, what's my next move? And what grates me is that I'm doing all this work for Kangaroo of all games. Not exactly the best game in my collection. All right, let me check a couple things. I mean, the Flyback hasn't exploded. Let me think about this. Let me try messing with the brightness. I mean, there's no HV, or there's no... I got HV on the screen, or I can feel HV static. Let me try adjusting the brightness real quick and see if that does anything. All right. Here's the brightness. Of course, this has these weird... Yeah, we've got no raster. Yeah, that's all the way up. We've got no raster. We've got no net glow. We've got HV but no net glow. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense at all? All right, let me, I'm gonna check the fuses again. I'm going to check the, and we'll test and check the B+. So nothing's exploded, but we don't have an image yet on this monitor. So yeah. Quick update, no progress. I am at a loss. Fuses are fine. The B+ should be 123 volts DC, and we're right on the money. It's been running for about half an hour, and there's nothing. No net glow, no nothing. So I'm not really sure what to make of this. I need to go do a bunch more research and figure out what my next plan of attack is. But before we do that, I've got something else that I need to do. I've got to take a break and go on a little road trip. So I don't know if you've been seeing in the background here, there's 2 Pango cabinets in the garage right now. So obviously the one on the right is my restored one. I finished that project, I don't know, a month or so ago, a month or 2 ago. And recently I picked up a second Pango. Don't worry, it's not for me. I'm not going to be restoring another Pango on the channel. This is actually for my buddy and Overtime Arcade channel member, Russell. So Russell saw this great deal. I think we all saw this great deal for a Pango project in the Scranton area of Pennsylvania for a great price. So I was passing through on my way home and happy to do Russell a favor. He bought this thing and I threw it on the back of my truck. I pulled over on the highway just at a gas station. The seller met me there and we moved it from his pickup truck to mine. And yeah, it's been sitting here in my garage in Virginia for the last several weeks. And, or actually maybe only about a month. So I brought it down from the Scranton area of Pennsylvania to here in Northern Virginia. But Russell actually lives in Denver, so we've got to get this thing to Denver. And don't worry, I am not driving all the way to Denver. Sorry, Russell, I love you, buddy, but I'm not doing that for you. I've got to go to Tennessee for work, and it's kind of at the limit of what I'm willing to drive in a day. So I figure, hey, get a little road trip under my belt, do Russell another favor. So I'm going to take this down to Nashville. We're going to drop this off with Cameron McCaslin, who some of you may know. He's very active on the Claw forums and Facebook, and we've had him as a guest on the Coin Jam podcast. And I'm going to drop this off at Cameron's place in Nashville, and he's going to hold it on to Russell for a little bit until another Overtime Arcade channel member and a good guy, Dillweed, Taylor, is going to come down and get it to Indianapolis somehow, which is the area that Taylor lives in. And then Russell's only got to figure out how to get this Pango cabinet from Indianapolis out to Denver. So yeah, why don't I get this all loaded up on the truck and we'll hit the road to Nashville and see if there's anything interesting that happens along the way. Okay, we're all loaded up and ready to go, so let's hit the road to Tennessee and see what adventures await us. Okay, here we are at an undisclosed location in the hills of eastern Tennessee. And this is not where Cameron lives because I made a quick pit stop on the way to grab this. So this is a empty gyrus cabinet. It's all wrapped up, but there's nothing in there. And yeah, I was passing by and this is not for me again, don't worry. I'm out of breath. I was just dragging this up a hill. Cameron saw this on Facebook Marketplace and for a great price. And since I was passing through, he asked if I would throw this on the truck and I said, sure. I guess he's got a gyrus already that's working, but the cabinet's not in great shape. And this one is pretty decent, you know, a little bit of, you know, chewed up at the bottom, but otherwise, you know, really nice. And, you know, usually this side art is all scratched up, you know, carved up with graffiti, but yep. So I'm gonna figure out how to get this onto the truck and then I'll show you what that looks like before hitting the road again. Okay, we're all loaded up and ready to go. I think we got gyrus standing up against the cab of the truck, Pango laying down because it's heavier, hanging off the edge by, I don't know, less than a foot, 10 inches maybe. And yeah, I think we're ready to hit the road. Next stop, Cameron's house in Nashville. Maybe. All right, Pango's off the truck and the gyrus is off the truck. And look who we've got over here. A special guest that you've probably seen before.
You can see everybody.
The one and only Cameron McCasland.
I got Pingo is gonna stay a couple nights at my place and then it's going with Taylor up to Indiana.
Pango's having a sleepover.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Taylor's bringing me some stuff and you guys will be able to see that real soon too.
Taylor, AKA Dillweed.
Yeah.
And yeah, Pango made it here safe and sound. Russell, you can rest assured, it's a little bit closer to you. Cameron's gonna take nice, good care of it until Taylor comes and picks it up.
And my wife, who is always saying I have too many games in the garage, she loves penguins, so that's how I got this, without no major complaints.
That's what I tell my wife. It's not mine, I'm just holding it for a friend.
That's exactly it, yeah.
All right, I think we've got a couple other stops on this journey before we head back home, but Cam, great seeing you, and we'll catch you around.
All right.
And oh, by the way, I forgot to turn around and show you what was behind me. This is Cameron's garage. You've probably seen Cameron's collection posted on Clav or whatnot, and this is his garage, absolutely packed to the gills with some really cool stuff in here, including some things that I've yet to reveal on my channel. Not that I'm taking them from Cameron's garage, but I've got them of my own back home, but quite the honey hole here, Cameron. Do your neighbors ever sort of peek over the fence and say, what's going on here?
I definitely have had some people walk around the corner of the garage and go, what is going on back here? So
looks like heaven to me.
Absolutely.
And of course, I had to check out Cameron's game room. Everything's off now. We got to be quiet because everyone's asleep. But Cameron's got an awesome collection here of some games that I am super jealous of. Can't miss this little Galaga Cabaret in the corner. And MK2 and Punch Out and the man himself.
Yeah.
Some nice cabarets over here.
There's some fun stuff.
Yeah, Battle Zone and Missile Command and Centipede. And back over here, Super Hang On and a Red Tent. Awesome collection and awesome guy. Here he is again. Say hi, Cameron.
Hey, everybody.
All right, last stop of the day, and this one is a doozy. We're still in the Nashville area, just outside of Nashville. This is Hot Rod Arcade, And this is Chris Royalty, who some of you may know. Chris,
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up? Where are we? What is this place?
We're in Jolton, Tennessee. We're just north of Nashville, about 15 minutes. And this is Hot Rod Arcade. I own Hot Rod Arcade, and a lot of people might know Hot Rod Arcade for also being pinballplating.com.
I've definitely heard of that.
And so originally started Hot Rod Arcade as honestly just a way to try to help pay the bills. Flipping classic arcades for many years, and then fell off into pinball. And usually when you fall off into pinball, you fall off into pinball, and that's definitely what happened to us. But I kind of started on classic arcades, especially the rare stuff, and a lot of vectors and stuff like that. Atari vectors especially. Used to have a big Atari vector collection, and now these days we do a lot of pins. We do a lot of repairs for people in the area, and a lot of people outside of the area even bring us games to work on. Some arcades, but mostly pins. A lot of EM pins. We're the only ones that full with EMs really in these parts, or to my knowledge anyway, on a regular basis. And I've got three guys that work 5 days a week, and they work nothing but just repairing games for either me or customers, or doing other things around here in the shop. We also now use the shop. Shop's fairly new. It's a few years old now, but
it's beautiful.
We're finally in a rendition of it where we have just started holding private events.
You got some tables set up here for it?
Yeah, that's set up for an event here in a couple of evenings. And but we can hold up to like 130, 140 people. And people cater in their food and have their company Christmas parties, and
that would be cool.
All this kind of stuff. And then they have the use of all the games that are working, and the whole game room, which is mostly working. And
well, let's go into the game room. I did a quick walkthrough here. Why don't we take a look at what's going on in here? And I don't know if there's any that you want to point out that are particularly special to you or whatnot.
I would say the special stuff. I mean, I have an affinity for a lot of things. Sometimes we fix something to then let somebody else take it from there.
Sure.
Like the Cheyenne and the Tron that you see right here, we fixed both of them. They're both fully functioning. I don't really feel like restoring them. We've got a lot of things to restore, a lot of pins, a lot of high-end pins to do and stuff. So we got them to this point. Somebody else can restore them. I have a restored Tron already. We've done a lot of Trons. I have all the parts to Trons if you ever need Trons. We've gutted a lot of Trons that were just rotten.
Funny you say that. We might be in touch a little bit later.
Well,
but I haven't talked about that on my channel just yet.
We pretty much can cover a Tron. So, but I don't know. In this row, maybe the GNR Data East. I have an affinity for it. Had it for a while. I've had 3 of those. Finally got that one. That was on location at Eastside Bowl in Nashville, but we brought it here once we picked up a Jersey Jack GNR. I have Eastside Bowl is actually a music venue, and so the owners asked me if we could do a kind of a rock and roll row. And so we have, I think, about 10 rock and roll pins, like all together on one wall there. We've got about 50 machines down there you can play in Nashville.
Bobby Orr Power Play.
Bobby Orr Power Play. This is a ground shaker I definitely have an affinity for. Unfortunately, it's got a bad brand new back glass that I probably shouldn't talk about on camera. But
a little scratch right there.
Yeah, well, if you look real close, it's all over it. And so it's, But anyway.
Okay. What about over here?
Dark Knight. Cool this is definitely some of my personal goodies. I love, like I said, Atari vectors, and these are three of those that are my favorites. Just need to put the art on the Major Havoc. Have the art, just haven't done it. So, Lunar I bought from a friend of mine that bought it from the arcade that he grew up working in, and he bought it when he was really young. I think still a teenager when he bought it in the early 80s. So this is all OG. This is all original stuff. The Quantum is a prototype. And it's an unnumbered cabinet, unnumbered board, all from Atari. Scott Evans sold that to us, and Scott was very kind to do so. It actually has a power switch right here under the control panel. It did not come with any artwork on the sides. It actually didn't even come with the art on the control panel. but Scott put a overlay on it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah?
I dig it. So
Okay.
it was just plain before, but
We got tons of stuff here. What do we got coming down here?
you know, game for my son to play. He loves the off-road challenge. He loves trucks and cars, and
Oh yeah,
you know, he's
so do
6
my
years
kids.
old and all that good stuff. So of this row, I'm a big fan of the Devil Riders. I love stuff you don't see all the time, but I'm also a gearhead, so I love anything, you know, hot rod, motorcycle related.
That's the name of the place, Hot Rod Arcade.
Right. And this is, of course, if you don't know, these were Italian games made by a company called Zaccaria.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and we pulled all the metal off the playfield and we chrome plated it because it just felt like it should be chrome plated. So
cool.
it's all nice and pretty. But that's a great game. I've got an Evil that we're going to put in here next to it and probably move out Silver Ball or Fireball or something.
Cool.
Also, here's another love of mine is the Omega Race
cockpit.
Yeah. I'm a big cockpit guy. I've got several cockpits. I have the only one that's not here at Hot Rod Arcade, the shop, or the game room is I still have at the house a Missile Command cockpit that I need to move over at some point.
Oh, wow.
But they are not fun to move.
No.
So I'm just not happy about wanting to move it.
Yeah.
So, you know, typical Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man Galaga. These two guys were home use only games.
Oh, nice.
Bought together, kept together by the same owner. We have redone the control panel on that guy, but other than that, it's factory, like still has all of its pinks and all that good stuff, and just gave them a little bit of a cleaning. Those came out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Much nicer than mine.
And just neat original games, and I love that kind of stuff when you can find it that nice. Got a Tempest here, love Tempest, again, love the Vectors. This is actually running, and I have a Star Wars on location.
Marvel is so loud.
Marvel is too loud. You are correct. The Tempest and Star Wars I have on location are both running raster tubes, G07 tubes.
Oh, wow.
With new Vector chassis on them. So they're a friend of mine put together.
And like a rewound yoke or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're amazing.
Yeah, looks great.
The convergence on them is fantastic and just look great, very reliable. And
Zookeeper.
If tube ever goes bad, you can get a tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Zookeeper.
Awesome Zookeeper.
Got a White Galaga.
White Galaga.
I love
the interesting little
love the history on the White Galaga.
Here.
I'm not responsible for the coin door. It came to me that way, and we haven't changed it out yet, but we are going to change it out. So,
yeah.
I'm not sure what somebody was thinking with that. That's okay.
Awesome Bosconian.
I love Bosconian. This is like the nicest Bosconian on the planet. This came from Dan out in California as he's been selling stuff off. Paid up for that.
Yeah,
I love Mad Planets. Mad Planets is one of my favorite games.
Yep.
Restored Tron that we did, and then I sold, and then many years later, I bought it back.
Came back to it.
It was so nice
Prodigal
that
son.
I always kind of missed it, and he offered it back to me. So, then some, kind of typical.
And we
stuff.
kind of blew past these just a ton of heavy hitter pins right here. I mean, I always love Champion Pub, right, with the punching bag that spins around into the boxer, and then you're jumping rope in the corner.
Yep.
Bonsai Run.
That's a home use only game.
No kidding.
Actually 4 games here together belong to a friend of mine, Mike Chestnut, many years ago. Mike passed. Mike was doing pinball plating before me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't anticipate we would be doing that, but here we are doing that.
Yeah.
And his dad and I are very close, and he actually does a lot of board work for us and things. But yeah, the Bonsai was his. I think he traveled to Colorado to get that. He restored both Attack and Medieval. I purchased Attack from him before he passed, and he gave me the choice between the two. And then after he passed, I was over at his place one night and I played Medieval, and I thought, man, I'm going to regret not getting this machine if I don't get it. And so I got it. I need to throw some more white LEDs in it. It's a little dark for my taste, but we're gonna do that here before long. Indy 5 was his favorite game. He got me liking it. This was a home use only game. He had taken the play field out and cleared it and did some work there. But for the most part, very low use home use game. It's got the red side cabinets. The cabinets not been restored. Those are all original decals.
Wow.
Of course, he added chrome because he was doing chrome at the time.
Yep.
We now do that. Theater is a home use game. Talk about like, I mean, you open this game up and just look inside of it. And it's like brand new. You just go, oh wow, this is like new. You know, it's so crazy. Got that from a friend of mine, Bud Somerville. He had gotten it, and a Voltaire actually that was home use at the same time from someone. Got this guy, so gold Adams, one of the numbered last Adams families that they made. We got our brass plating on it. When we got it, we went ahead and redid all that. Actually, it was actually a customer that called me wanting to replace the side rails, and they had been dented on the top from the back box being put down. And the family that had it were not pinball people, but
so they didn't know.
Her husband, he knew what he had. He'd had it on eBay. He'd been shopping it around. But the pinball people were driving the guy crazy, and I want to thank the pinball people out there for driving him crazy, because it put him in the mood to sell it to me when I asked would he be willing to sell it as it was and let us finish, because he'd been, all these people were driving him so nuts about just nitpicking little things. So he was trying to fix all this stuff, but he's not a pinball guy.
Yeah.
But his wife, her dad was an operator, and he had bought a couple of pinballs for them to keep at home when she was growing up, and this was one of them. And so this had always stayed in her house. And then she had it. No one else in the family wanted it, so I ended up with it. It's an Indy that I bought about 16 years ago in a yard sale for $900. And
wow,
I've had it all this time. Slowly but surely, we've kind of restored it, redid the cabinet. Mike actually redid the cabinet before he passed, and then. That's kind of probably a family favorite for us. And then we got, you know, I like the Data Least stuff, Turtles, you know, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I think that stuff's a lot of fun. Like kids love these games. Flintstones, Johnny, of course, got the hand on the Johnny, and it works and all that stuff.
The Star Wars cockpit, you were saying, is such a Star
Wars cockpit, yeah. It's got the 25 in it. It actually came to us with a 19-inch raster in it. It had been converted at one point to Return of the Jedi.
Oh my goodness!
And but then all of the Jedi parts were gone, and so. Anyway, we were able to convert it back. We had to do a little bit of building of harnesses and things to make it all right. But
it looks good.
It's running a console TV tube with a 6100 yoke and an Amplifone chassis set.
Whatever it takes.
And it's great. And we pulled the board the other day to test in the one on location, and then we haven't gotten it all hooked back up yet. Moon Patrol cocktail, I love Moon Patrol.
Like one that I've got. This one is in much nicer shape than mine, obviously.
So, there you go.
There you go.
You gotta love Moon Patrol.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are. If you don't love Moon Patrol, something's wrong with you.
And let's see, coming over here, the four-player hot rod.
Four-player hot rod.
Got to have hot rod in the hot rod arcade.
That's right. And I've always been kind of keeping an eye out for one of these. It was really rough.
Steve Lady's got the three-person upright.
We re-chromed all the bars. They were rusty. We still got to repowder coat all the doors and some of the other pieces, but we got it up and working thanks to a close friend who's just amazing with stuff that I just don't even understand. He rewrote a lot of files and got it where the floppy disk drive was dead. It was done, and it wasn't going to work without it. And so he makes it think that it has a floppy disk drive in it now.
There you go.
But it doesn't. Of course, Play Choice Den.
Countertop. Very cool.
Everybody loves that. My kids love that. That's probably their favorite game. And then there's this guy. And a lot of people have not seen one of these guys before.
This is a cocktail pinball machine.
This is called Rotation 8. Bally made these in 1978.
Okay.
And 4 people can play this guy. And let's see.
I see there's a set of flippers here.
It has to know where the ball is. And if the ball is not sitting in the trough, it is not going to work. So, now with that said, let's see if we can get it.
Oh, okay.
Rotation. It rotates to every player at every place, and everybody's got their own shooter rod.
It says north, west, south, and east.
And
instead of player 1, 2, 3, 4. You said 8 players?
4 players.
4 players.
So, and it, you know, it'll rotate between balls for each person or whatever. Of course, I only started one side, so it's gonna just play this one side, but it'll keep rotating around to you, so nobody has to move. And
it's called rotation what?
Rotation 8.
Rotation 8. Okay.
Bally, 1978. Don't see many of these. I actually saw one on Instagram last week working, and it is the first one I've seen working other than ours. So. Whoever that was, kudos to you guys. I love seeing these things come to life.
That is neat.
And they have their own board set, so it's kind of one of those things I think a lot of people are afraid of. But
the whole playfield moves.
The whole playfield moves, and just cool as junk, right?
Yeah.
Something you don't see every day.
All right, coming back over here, we got a couple of cabarets on the side.
Yeah, saved. I actually saved both these guys from the same warehouse years ago.
Pole position cockpit.
They sat on the mezzanine for a long time. We finally got around to, you know,
we'll
finding all the pieces. They were missing everything. Both were gutted.
We'll get to the mezzanine in a second. We got a great row of EMs here.
Yeah.
76.
76 is the customer's game. The rest of these are ours.
I know you were playing Royal Flush a minute ago.
Yeah, I was. It's actually in gameplay right now. So, you know, bing bing.
Bing bong bing.
You gotta love a little bing bing. So I do enjoy EMs. They're probably not my go-to thing to always play, but I don't know. There's something about them.
Yeah. I think it's always nice if you got, you know, a row of solid states to have one EM in there as kind of like a contrast.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Lots of cool stuff. And then behind us, we've got another cool row here.
Yeah.
Particularly the Night Driver.
Night Driver, we saved that out of a warehouse and brought it back to life. It's had several people kind of help us get that thing back to up and going, and now it's pretty reliable. And it's on a lot. People play it a lot. You know, it's a neat game. All original cabinet, all the artwork's all original. It looks beautiful.
It does, yeah.
You know, hard to beat the Atari artwork on that stuff.
90s, and we got the quarterback here. I'm kind of working on a quarterback.
Quarterback can be someone else's.
Yeah.
Radical bikers can be someone else's.
Flick stick. So weird.
Want something different.
iRobot's super cool.
Yeah, you don't see iRobots every day.
No.
Might sell that. Kind of on the fence about it.
Street Fighter and a Ghostbusters cab.
Street Fighter and a Ghostbusters. We're about to deconvert this guy and put it back to being a Ghostbusters.
And Zeke's Peak.
Zeke's Peak.
Yeah.
And I love Zeke's Peak. My family loves Zeke's Peak. So yeah.
And you were just mentioning the mezzanine, so why don't we go up there and check that out?
Okay.
All right, Chris. Now we're up in the mezzanine, and what's going on up here?
Well, the mezzanine part itself is mostly parts. You can see, kind of have like what I call the salvage yard of playfields.
Yeah.
I've been buying playfields, populated playfields for years. Everybody thinks I'm crazy buying these things, but
they're not making more of them.
Especially these days that we're doing lots of repairs for people. It is so great having these parts like at our fingertips. You know, we need a switch, we need a pop bumper assembly or something, you know.
I mean, it's like with cars, right?
Same idea. Above them, we actually have new playfields. These are all 4 shelves are full of new playfields.
Yeah, they make new repro playfields, but not populated, right?
Right. So you can see a lot of that stuff there. And then, I mean, some of it's in sections. After the first of the year, we're coming up here and doing like a major organization of everything, but we haven't done it yet. But there's a little bit of everything. Some of it's there. We've got, you know, old lock bars. I have lock bars to pinballs that, you know, you can't go buy, that I've held on to. Gottlob standards and wides, early Stern lock bars with the hooks, with the bullets, lots of legs. We got,
it's almost like a you pick part slot, right? You could do that.
Coin doors for days. Up top, down below. I've got everything to build a 720. We've got a 720 cabinet over there.
Yeah.
You know, again, more. It's got coin boxes. Here's a details from the Crypt playfield that needs to go into a cabinet that we need to finish and be done with.
I need a coin box that'll fit a Asteroids Cabaret, if you can keep an eye out for one of those. It's a weird size and shape.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that looks like. I know I've seen it. But yeah.
I've got a cardboard box in it right now.
I have a lot of parts in this area that go to a Voltaire, a Scared Stiff, a Cactus Canyon, and a Star Trek Next Gen. I bought those 4 games together, disassembled. So I'm not against a challenge every once in a while, but I might be insane sometimes too. So, but yeah.
Very cool. This is amazing, Chris. Of course, you got, looks like PCBs, ton of PCBs back there.
Yeah, there's tons here. There's actually a bunch that are not even here at this building that are still lined up on shelves elsewhere too. So,
and lots of project cabinets up here too.
This is where we keep a lot of project machines. There's a lot of project pins. There's some arcades up here too. You know, just you start running out of room.
Anything super cool? You got a super system.
There's a super system.
Those have been in demand lately. And you got the controllers too.
It's a working super system. The monitor's very dim. The cabinet isn't the best, and it kind of has me just kind of thinking I might let it go. If somebody wanted to buy it, I'd probably sell it. But yeah, they're neat games. You know.
What else is back here?
We got a lot of pin projects.
Dragging a harness or something.
We got System 1 cabinets here. I've got Indiana Jones kits and Roadrunner kits and Road Blasters, and I think I got everything but a whatchamacallit,
Paperboy? No, Marble Madness or
the one with the blue stick. I can't even think the name of it right now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Peter Packrat?
Peter Packrat, that's it. But yeah, more pinball projects. Some rough, some not really as rough as you might think they are when you're first upon looking at them, but
everything's fixable.
That's right.
And we got monitors galore over here on this wall. Look at that.
Got lots of monitors. Been hoarding monitors for a long time.
This place reminds me of my garage times 1,000. So maybe some life goals. But yeah, like you were talking about pinball plating before. Why don't we go downstairs and check out the setup for that?
Absolutely, let's do it.
And down here is kind of where the magic happens, the workshop.
This is primarily where our guys work on games. It's a little more cluttered than normal.
It's all work in progress.
We don't normally have this many games under here at one time, but we kind of made some changes to how much room they had in the last week, and I've kind of put on them to try to knock out a couple of arcades that I want to take to location as well. So they've been working on that stuff. But
every tool and part you could ever need.
We have a lot of junk.
No, it's treasure.
There's some treasure in here. There's definitely some treasure.
And you're talking about all the wire forms and everything?
Yes. So part of pinball plating, if you go to pinballplating.com, you'll see there's a new parts page where we have lock bars and side rails and legs and hinges and things like that. I can sell new outright. But then, of course, there's a lot of people that need, say, their wire forms replated or the gun shooters for their guns. And you can see in the case even more.
It's like a trophy case and a gun case all together. Look at that.
This is a statement of how ridiculous I can be sometimes. I just wanted to see an Operation Wolf gun chrome plated. And so we did that, and there it is. And yeah. So just being ridiculous is really the only thing there is to say about that. But
chrome Operation Wolf.
But you can see a lot of the shooters, and we do a lot of arcade stuff too. Like we do the tapper control, the tapper cup holders and foot bar. That's an afterburner handle. We've got a couple of those now. We've got Fishtail, Star Trek, more Star Trek, more Star Trek. We have Shadow, Indiana Jones, Terminator 2, all those types of things. And then this is the wire form wall. This is kind of where we have wire form ramps, per game. Of course, they're different usually on every game.
Oh yeah.
With the exception of like a couple titles along the way over the years. But you know, you can say, you know, well, hey, I need my Indiana Jones wireforms redone, you know, and so we come over here. If we've got them in stock, you can send yours in. You don't have to wait for the plating process.
Yeah.
We do a quick
swap.
we do a quick exchange, and send you back. You know, and a lot of people, you know, while they're doing that, they're, hey, I want the trim for this game or whatever, and so. But yeah, that's what's up with
Awesome.
that. Same thing with the guns. We exchange those. And there's a lot of random parts that I've collected over the years that we exchange. I mean, just so many like random things to certain games. You know, certain lock bars that were only used on certain games and things like that. That again, I try to keep in stock already plated, in things that I think people will want them plated in to exchange. I don't sell that stuff outright because you can't rebuy it. But
yeah. Well, Chris, this has been truly amazing. Thank you for sharing all this with us. And if people want to learn more about you and what you do and the Hot Rod Arcade and pinball plating, where should they go to find out more?
You can go to pinballplating.com. You can go to hotrodarcade.com. Chris@hotrodarcade.com is my email. You're welcome to hit me up. You know, even if you are just looking for something random and you think I might have an extra or something, I'm glad to, you know, try to help. If I do, if I don't, I'll tell you. You know, but yeah.
Awesome. Chris, this has been great.
Hey,
thanks for staying up late for me. It is super late right now. I got to hit the road, get to the hotel. I got an early morning tomorrow and the next day, but this was definitely worth making the trip. So thanks again, Chris.
Thank you guys for coming by.
You know what? I think that little 1,400-mile casual drive is exactly what I needed to clear my head and allow me to solve this puzzle. And guys, the proof is in the pudding. I fixed it. I fixed it. And of course, by fixed it, I mean I swapped out the monitor. So yeah, I gave up on this broken Matsushita TM-202G and I swapped in a working monitor instead. It's funny, I was sort of, you know, sharing the trials and tribulations I've been having with this monitor in the Overtime Arcade private members-only Discord. And one of our members, Wayne, sort of was joking and saying, you need to get rid of that thing and throw in a good monitor like a G07. Little did he know that that's exactly what I was doing right at that time. So this is actually the working G07 that had been intended for the Ms. Pac-Man project, which that project's not going to be done anytime soon. And, you know, a working game is always better than a non-working game. So I grabbed that monitor. I got a wall of monitors here, and I figure, you know, what's the use of having them if you're not putting them to good use? So grab that one off the shelf, toss it in here, and yeah, Kangaroo is back in action. Awesome. You know, Kangaroo is not exactly the greatest game of all time, but hey, it's cute, it's fun, my kids like it, and yeah, it's ready to be played again with the G07. So, you know, I was getting really frustrated with this monitor. You know, another thing that little trip allowed me to do was post a bunch of questions, you know, I created a help thread on Clav and posted on Facebook and shared privately with some other folks. A lot of people chimed in with some really good, useful suggestions, including my buddy Dell from Delusionals Arcade. I tried a bunch of stuff. I think in the long run, you know, really what happened was I don't think I'm getting any heater voltage from this reproduction flyback. I don't know if I got a dud or what, or maybe there's some cold solder that I'm not seeing or a cracked trace or whatever. But I'm not getting any heater voltage, which is what's necessary to generate that neck glow and help produce the picture. So not sure what's going on with that. You know, I'm not going to get rid of the monitor, but I'm going to put it on the shelf, you know, put some space between me and it, and eventually get back to it. But yeah, you know, discretion being the better part of valor, I gave up. Rather than beat my head against the wall unnecessarily for, you know, who knows how long, I gave up on the Matsushita, at least for now, and threw a working monitor into this cabinet. So, and look how nice it looks with the that bezel that I got from Joe and Ron from Joe's Classic Video Games and Lions Arcade. But yeah, so anyway, guys, I think I'll start to wrap it up here. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. You know, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. I release new videos like this, you know, basically every Sunday afternoon. Sometimes I'll throw in a little short in between now and then. So subscribe because you don't want to miss any of that stuff. Coming up, we've got our 12 days of Christmas. So basically the way this works, it's going to be our second year. I release a new piece of content every day for 12 days, culminating with our annual New Year's live stream special. So you don't want to miss that either. If you like this video, hit that like button down below. It really helps me out. If you really like this video, click on the join button to learn more about what it means to become an Overtime Arcade channel member. Basically, the way it works is you give me $1.99 a month, and in return, you get access to some really awesome exclusive channel member perks, including a monthly members only live stream, which is also coming up. You get early access to all new videos. So typically you get to watch these videos about a day in advance of the public release. And you get access to our private members only Discord, which I mentioned before. That's a ton of fun. It's a great group of folks, a lot of fun. You really want to get into that. And yeah, let me give a special thanks to our newest Overtime Arcade channel member, White Fox. Really appreciate your support. And yeah, I think that'll about do it. So as always, you've been watching Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie, and I'll see you next time.
Overtime!